Hello, my name is Eric Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about, is the past really just a concept? And the short answer is yes, it's really just a concept. But I'm going to go into this into a bit more detail. But we need to go into what is, our memories of the past. Because our memories fundamentally are just concepts. And so many of the times we don't even remember correctly what had happened. And so disagreements arise between people regarding what had happened and why and other details. Because we really don't remember the past that well. Our memories are poor conceptual representations of what had happened. And so fundamentally, our memories are concepts. And what do we have of the past? Experientially, right now. Experientially, ever. It is impossible to experience the past. All experience is in the now, current. It is impossible to experience the past. Even if you relive a memory, walking through and reliving and imagining, through imagination, you're reliving a memory in the present. It's not the past. It's a present reenactment of our poorly conceptualized picture of what happened in the past. But experientially, it is impossible to experience the past. The past does not exist as something that can be experienced. It doesn't exist at all, really. It's purely a concept. I mean, things are constantly changing, but what is the present. That's what is. But when it comes to what had happened, well, none of that exists anymore. If something went away, it's gone. It's not something that, exists anymore. All we have are our poor conceptual ideas of what we had. And so this is the basis of me agreeing, or at least saying yes to the question of, yes, the past is just concepts. Because what our idea of past is just our, poor memory. And it really is a poor memory. Because in many, many studies, they'll study people who were witnesses to a crime. And more often than not, the stories never really line up very well. There's a few high points that tend to repeat. And so people consider those to be the facts because many people collaborated on it. But so often, we don't really have the characteristics of the criminal. Some will say tall, some say, well, not so tall. Hair color will be different. Everyone's memories of what had happened could be vastly different. And as such, none of that is reality. Our memory of it is not reality. Don't confuse our memory of what had happened with reality, because it's like our memory of it is just a poorly constructed map of what had happened. But there might have been an event, there was a photo, and then the event's over, and then we just have the photo to go, yeah, I remember that. But it's all pretty vague, poorly remembered. And depending who you ask, it could be remembered differently. And so this is all in the realms of concepts. But when you get to the the tactile, what can you experience? What is real? Can't touch the past. The past is not now. Our only anchor or connection with the past is our own memory of it. I mean, imagine some animals that do not have much of a temporal memory. You know, say dogs are worse. You know how dogs have no current memory. I mean, you leave the room and you come back and they give you this look like you've been gone forever. You know, because they really don't know how much time has passed, it seems. At least some pets do. But, you know, there are some creatures that have really no memory of the past. And so, you know, what does this mean? If you lived in such a way you had no memory of the past. There is a case. I saw it once, and I think there might have been a documentary, but there was a guy who, due to injury, his memory only lasts about 10-20 seconds. Anything beyond that does not exist. And if you think about that, the past simply does not exist because there's no memory of it. If something happened, I mean, somebody could walk up and smack him in the face and he might get really ticked. You leave the room, the pain fades, he doesn't see you, you come back a minute later, the slap never happened. There's no memory of it, there's no baggage of it. You probably even got to reintroduce yourself because he doesn't remember you. The past is that ephemeral. It doesn't really exist outside of our memory, but we become very attached to our memory and we think it's truth. This is really what happened. But any real study, you can find out that there's conflicting opinions regarding what had happened and how and why, and you know, everybody's point of view is rather unique. And as such, our memories of what was is rather biased and impartial and isn't very accurate. So our memories are not the truth. And I don't know, you might have experienced this. I have. I remembered an event once, and I could have swore someone was with me. Turned out my memory of them being with me was made up. So it was somebody else that was with me, and I can't remember who was with me. But when I talked to the person I thought was with me, and I go, hey, remember this time when we went to this? They're like, I've never been there. My memory of them being there with me, made up. Somehow they've got edited in as part of that, but they weren't there. And so how can you say the past is real? And I know some people get really hung up on this because they're like, well, if I have tea and I'm by myself in the house, obviously I got up and boiled the water, you know, so that past is real. Well, if you really had no memory at all, for all you know, somebody else boiled the tea for you and you just got the, you know, and if you treated it like this person that had a 20-second memory, you know, there's hot water, but you don't know. Hot water is the present. This is what you have in front of you. How it got here, no idea. You could have boiled it. Somebody else could have came in and boiled it. No idea. All you know is that it's currently hot. The past seems so real because we have this belief in cause and effect and a past story, and we're like, well, somehow it got to here. But the fact of the matter is, if you really had no memory, like this 20-second memory guy that I keep referencing, you have no idea where it came from. And if there's no other clues, there's no photographic evidence, there's nothing there, the very fact of the matter is you may never know how it got here. It's like there's hot water. How'd it get here? Not a clue. But the only reality is what is, and what is there's hot water. How it got here, don't know. The thing is you believe and are attached to your memory. You believe your memory of boiling the water yourself so significantly that you're like, no, I boiled the water. That is my past. And so it makes the past seem so very real. And you forget that this is all concept. I mean, even take it from the standpoint of manufactured memories. It's, because there's even been like sci-fi movies where they, due to either some kind of technology or VR or whatever else, you're implanting memories in other people's heads. Well, if you're implanting the memory of a past that didn't happen, then really can you see that the memories were never real in the first place? They never had an anchor in reality. Whatever happened, but it's the past, it's gone. It currently does not exist. The only thing that exists is now. And right now is whatever you get to deal with. Nothing in the past exists. All there is memory, which may be there or may not be there, depending on how much memory you've got. And the memory may be very inaccurate or distorted. And so you have all this concept of the belief of how things happened. But this is just, playing with the idea and delving into it a bit today. But really, as you really delve into this, you need to understand that concept is not reality. And the only thing the past is right now is a concept or thought. And so, the past is just concept. That's all we've got of the past. If you had no concept of the past, there would be no past, like the 22nd guy who just doesn't remember anything. Something to play with, something to consider. But no, the past doesn't exist. It's just a concept. And a poorly formed concept, probably, to boot. Anyways, if you got any questions, comments, please post below. But until next time, thank you much.